On today's Minute of the Apes, I am still hurting from yesterday's workout where I did 266 med ball lunges. That's a 20-pound med ball doing lunges reversed the entire time. My legs are so sore that I wonder sometimes, shall I be malformed?
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
What is the divine bomb?
The only good human is a dead human! Where there is fire, there is smoke.
The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes. The minute of the apes.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies 1 minute at a time. And I had a bit of fun. I actually helped Sean
was a little
find
closer,
that
yeah.
kick.
See, normally the thing is I'm listening to it in 3 times speed, so it's
Oh,
a
is that
little
what it
different
is?
pacing.
Okay. You do such a great job with your teases that I think what threw me was that you drew it back in. And I was like, that was half the reason that I couldn't hold back the laughter. I was like,
why are you laughing?
it was just because I didn't expect it to go where it went. You know, Richard comes in and he was not moving like himself today.
Very well at all.
He actually,
He's not sitting down.
this is actually what you said in there is my writing chair. I work. I've not mentioned this, you guys. I've been working with a friend on a screenplay for a while, and so we Zoom together, and that's my writing chair. No one, and not that you can't. No one ever sits in that because it's not like the prettiest of chairs.
Yeah, it's functional.
It's moderately comfortable.
Yeah.
And I looked in, and Richard just looked like a
didn't wanna
crumpled
get up.
mass of humanity. I was like, "Whoa, dude!"
I was just sitting down. It's just kind of like, I'm not going to get back up. I was like, can they just move the mic over here and I'll just sit in this chair?
Whether you know it or not, I could tell on your face when you were sitting there. I thought, "Oh, poor thing is just not 100%."
But you know what? I still got up at 4 o'clock this morning. I still put on a 25-pound weighted vest and walked 4 miles. And then it just kind of caught up to me.
Oh yeah, there's no CrossFit workout today, so
Yeah, it's
that's
just
why he
yeah.
took it easy today and only walked 4 miles.
But isn't that, I don't work out the way you do, but I mean, obviously do come up and pick up a guitar every morning. And even though if I play a gig, my fingers feel beaten to hell, but I still practice that as soon as I can so that I'm keeping that repetition going. I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
That no matter what it feels like, you go. You just do it. And it's kind of what we feel like with Minute of the Apes
Yeah,
sometimes.
let's
We
just
just get
do
back
it.
in and do it again. So, Sean,
All right.
tell us what's going on at minute 64.
Start minute 64 with Caesar rushing to his child's side and ends with Caesar saying, "One day Corny will be as tall as a king."
All right, here we come. Minute 64, Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Father, they hurt me. They want to hurt you.
Who hurt you? The humans?
No,
Then who?
shall I be malformed?
No. One day, you are going to be as tall as a king.
As of minute 64, we have a village worth of apes and humans, plus a ghost city's worth of radioactive people, and still no Ricky.
So, visually, just to give you the cue here, we stay within the hut the entirety of the minute. We get a couple of nice shots by Mr. Thompson doing what he does well with things framed in the foreground, another character looking down upon that. Cutting back and forth between Cornelius and Caesar. That's pretty much the entirety of the minute.
We got the split diopter working there.
Yeah, I wondered about that. That if that, I mean, so the shot that begins approximately at about 10 seconds has Cornelius laying in the foreground, Caesar just to the right of that, and if you look, there is a blur
Like
line
on his neck, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at Roddy's sleeve, it's popping a little bit. So split diopter, for people that may not know, actually allows you to get something very tight and something
Very close and very far away
distant
in focus
in
the
you,
same shot.
You can do that without a split diopter, but it is horrifically hard. That's one of the reasons if you go break down Citizen Kane, some of the shots are not with split diopters, that they pull off that kind of look, and it's very hard to get enough light to make that work. Brian De Palma famously used the split diopter many times. I'm not surprised that that's probably what that is.
Yeah.
The line is not quite as
Well, it helps that
noticeable
it's
as you'll
dark,
sometimes.
yeah.
It definitely hides it, but it's a beautiful shot. It really is, to see Cornelius here in the front, Caesar there looking at him. We don't find out a lot of information.
Well, that's because Corny is playing the pronoun game. Instead of saying Aldo attacked me, he's saying they attacked me, or even saying the gorillas attacked me. I mean, they attacked me. They want to kill you.
I do wonder what the choice was to not go ahead and give
Give it
Caesar this information, because in the coming minutes when we go for a battle, and you almost have to rely on being Aldo's partner to an extent, it would have been interesting for Caesar to have that information.
Is
but
he going to stab him in the back at some point?
There's like a piece of description in the next minute that would lend itself to Cornelius revealing to his father
Okay.
the cause.
Yeah.
But it's not revealed. So again, I don't know why. You're right. I don't know why they didn't.
Why would Cornelius even assume the humans would have attacked? Caesar assumed the humans would attack Cornelius, because, as far as we know, they've never had this kind of issue before. The only one
Somebody should have come to him and put that seed in his
because
head.
the only one stirring up shit, as far as we know, is General Aldo.
Well, so we're just
That's
gonna
true.
we're gonna assume that Cornelius had a fall. So some of the stuff we want him to reveal at this particular moment, he may not have the capacity to do so.
And I don't have a problem with that. He doesn't have the fortitude at this point to say it.
Or you even just say, I don't remember what happened.
It might have. It might have been nice for the nurse or Elisa to step in at this particular moment and
stop it. Yeah,
and stop it. That way, Cornelius can't reveal it because she recognizes how it's taxing him,
right,
or something. And that would be
this is straining him too much.
That'd be a terrible tease, but it'd make him a little more sense than him not revealing the
exactly. It wouldn't just be the It wouldn't be the Padme dying on the bed because she's lost the will to live. It's almost that level where, and it's not either of the actor's fault. It's just the page is not giving them the moment that you kind of hope for. You kind of hope that whether he would say Aldo, or if he were to say they swing the sword. They swing the sword. If he said that, then he would almost know the girl is too. And I could see a child remembering those visuals. He's in a fever dream. Have him kind of like that.
I want him to actually, instead of talking about the fall or anything, to be asking about Ricky. Where's Ricky?
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a great idea.
His line, one day you will be as tall as a king, that he says at the end of this minute, talking to Cornelius, was something that I wanted more of him in the last minute and this minute. I feel like Caesar should be saying a little bit more.
I agree.
To his son. Even though I love that line of dialogue, I needed some more from him in the last minute talking to Virgil, and I want some more of him in this minute. He's very, very passive, and I understand the character is supposed to be sad,
right?
Because he may see what's happening, but I would like to hear him tell us that.
I did have will I be malformed? And I go, no, son, you're not going to make it out of this scene. Don't worry about that.
Malformed is definitely a choice that I think was probably a common term
maybe
then. As opposed to now, we would not say the word malformed.
You would almost just ask, "Will I walk?"
Will I walk?
Or be twisted, or
So yeah, will I?
And there's a wonderful, horrifically wonderful element to a character we know is going to die if they're concerned on will I walk, and then the parent has to go. You'll always walk. That he's dying. And walking is the least of your concerns.
Yeah.
So. There's so many things they could have played with that I wish they had. It's one of those moments again with Roddy where you've got this fantastic actor who's given very little to do. And
the two actors through their use of their dialogue and the shots do evoke an emotion. They're both,
absolutely.
They're both doing a great job. I would have liked more from Caesar.
I would have liked more on the
this
page
impact.
to give them both. You know, I look at what Cornelius has given, and if you again start talking in that childlike way of what are so not only did he fall and obviously break his back or something, but he bonked his head, so he's not clear. And if you let a child think back on it, the fear, like I said, of that sword, they're chopping at me, Father. They're chopping. You know, give him that. Then he's shown what he can do with what little you gave him. If you give him that, that's a wonderful moment. It makes Caesar escalate and
And you also want
begin to know. He starts putting the clues together.
talk about not giving somebody something. Why is Lisa not part of this whole scene as
She's
well?
a woman. We don't need
I
her.
know.
She's
I mean,
off to the side.
Her character is very
I'm kidding, of
underdeveloped.
course.
I
And
mean,
that might have something to do with it. I mean, that really might be the role of women just in general not being able to come in and part of this moment. But it would have, yeah. You will notice on the script page here for Cornelius, they actually have the ellipses between each of the words, so he is supposed to give each one of those some time, some room.
Right.
So he did a good job with what he had. They just
Right.
wanted more to it.
Right. Well, it's once again those moments where I think more than anything the script begins the failure. And then whenever you have a director as talented as this, but probably with producers in the studio going, let's crank, they aren't being as discerning on what is needed. Hey, we've got it. That the page says that. This is approved script. Let's shoot. Let's go.
Right, yeah.
And man, how many times do we have to say it? When studios get in the way of this, you're going to take away the meat of what could be here. All right, has anyone got anything else?
that's it for me.
All right, we will be back tomorrow with Minute 65. Until then, everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the apes. The minute